Hello, everybody. How you doing today? Tony Rizzano, episode 92 of the Affiliate Party Podcast. Today's Thursday, October the 15th, 2020. How's your week been going? Everything good? It's getting close to the end, I guess. If you are one of those people that count all the weekdays down all the time. Me, it all blends in. You know what I mean? But anyway, everybody, like I said the other day, think about your boy today. I'll be out there. I'll be out in the garage bending, lifting, throwing out my back probably. Who knows? But it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day after this. After I get done recording this podcast. But anyway, today we're gonna talk about why do we produce content? All right, you ready? Let's go. Now, I was looking the other day, a couple days ago, I was looking at my Medium account. As you well know, I've discussed this before. I've written a few poems, a few stories on Medium, you know, upload them and everything. And I wrote one story last year, I think October, September, something like that. And it was a very brief story. It wasn't nothing, it wasn't, the greatest novel in the world or anything like that. It was just an article I wrote, I uploaded it, and it's been up there for a year. And then a few days ago, I was looking at my Medium account. Because, when you write on Medium, you can make some money. So you write an article, people read it, people like it, you get paid. The more people read it, of course, the more you get paid. But anyway, this is the article that I don't think anybody has ever read, I don't think. Until last week sometime, apparently, a few people have been reading this article because I looked at it said to pay for all the articles. And I said, hold on. I said, and then the article is called I Like to Dance. I remember I wrote this article because I was quick backstory, but whenever I'm home, me and my wife, if she's in the kitchen or we're in the living room, one thing that we like to do that I enjoy is sometimes she'll start a song and I'll jump in, or if I start singing the song, then she'll jump in because my wife, she has a very lovely voice. Maybe I'm just biased, but she's a pretty good singer in my opinion. She doesn't think so, but that's neither here nor there. And then of course I like to dance, but my wife says I can't dance, so she tells me don't dance in public, blah blah blah. And I said, look, I got moves, I'm good, this, that. Yeah. I said dance is not a judge. Dance is an interpretation. It doesn't matter if you think you can dance or not, or whatever. You know what I mean? To me, dance is just an interpretation. Doesn't really matter. But moral of the story is, I wrote this article. I thought it was funny at the time. I just wrote it, posted it up. I haven't gave it a thought since. It's been a year, but apparently people have been reading it in the last week or two, and now at the end of the month, I'm going to get paid. So I thought to myself, I said, this is the perfect example of why we produce content on a regular basis, because you never know, because no matter what you produce, of course, the worst critic you're going to get is yourself. Yourself is always going to be your biggest critic, because I've written poems, I've written stories, I do a podcast, I've shot videos for YouTube. I've done a lot of different things, and nobody's harder on me than me. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when I do, some days I do the podcast, I go, you know what? That's pretty good. I'll take that. It's been a couple of days, I'm just like, I don't think I brung it today. But you do the best you can, then you upload it, and then that's that. You know what I mean? Like, of course you put out the best effort you can. Don't get me wrong. Don't half-ass it or anything like that. But the article was in my beginning stages of writing, and so of course I was like, But I was like, I don't want to delete it. I said, I can't just sit here and spend an hour or two writing an article, then delete it every time. I mean, after a while, it just gets kind of, redundant. It's kind of dumb. So, and the only way to get better is to keep writing. But I mean, as you keep producing content, like I say on this podcast, say, hey, I give you the date or whatever, episode, 92, that kind of stuff. But it'll be somebody that'll listen to this podcast 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and they'll go, oh, this is good podcast. You know what I mean? So this is why I say always produce, always be producing. Don't delete everything. Of course, some things you're not going to like, but just keep going. And, of course, you'll get better at it. You'll get better at the stuff. But, yeah, just produce the content. Because now, like I said, at the end of the month, you're going to get it's not $1,000, but it's something. It's a few bucks. I can't complain. Off an article that I wrote just because me and my wife had a conversation about dancing. So this is why we produce content. It's just like some days, I look at the numbers of the podcast every blue moon, and then I'm always amazed. It's like some days people actually binge listen to this podcast, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot for, a podcast in the beginning stages, especially somebody that's, I'm famous to my parents and everything, but I'm not like, a known entity to the world. So it's good that you just produce the content and just upload it, and then people will find you. Like I say many times, over and over and over, the more you produce, the more you have, the better you get, the more people will discover you, and things will take off from there. So I'm just giving you an example of why you should always be uploading content every day. Now, me myself, I gotta upload more content. I've gotten to the groove of the podcast, so I can do the pod. I have ideas, like I told you. Every Sunday, I write down ideas for the podcast. Seven ideas, seven episodes. On Sunday, I have it all figured out. Write it in my notes, put it on my iPhone. Then every day, every night, get up early in the morning, do the podcast, upload it, try to have it ready by 8 o'clock. Boom. That's it. So I got that. I got a groove with that. So, but now I just need to get a groove with the video. I need to get a groove with the writing. I need to do more writing. Bang them out. Because the more content you produce, the more stuff you have, the more material you have, the more you can use it for a variety of ways. We will get into that down the road. And yeah, that's that. So always be producing, because you never know when somebody's going to read, somebody's going to listen, somebody's going to watch a video. You never know when, like, especially if you put the links down below, you never know when somebody's going to click on a link. You never know when somebody's going to sign up for something. You never know. So always use call to action, always produce content, and just always keep putting yourself out there, and it'll pay off in the long run. All right? Now, before we end this podcast, it's an email I wrote the other day. It's about Facebook. You gotta forgive me. But it's an email I wrote the other day about Facebook, and it was titled "Why You Don't." What was it? It was why you don't need Facebook to become an online giant. Okay, there's a myth. There's a myth that some people like to tell you, because I would discuss the email with you right now. I told you before, I signed up for this MLM, multi-level marketing company once. The guy told me, he said, hey, you got to get on Facebook. You got to turn your Facebook page into a business card, blah, 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 blah. You got to do this, you got to do that. And I thought, man, I said, I know there's got to be another way. He's saying, hey, Facebook. He said, if you want to make money, man, you got to be on Facebook. And I thought, I don't know. There's plenty of people making money online, and they're not on Facebook. And they don't use Facebook as the number one go-to tool. So that is a myth that we have to debunk. Now, if you want to use Facebook for social media to draw an audience, cool. That's great. You should do that. You should do that. But never tell anybody that you need Facebook to grow a business, because that is a flat out, that's irresponsible, because you don't really need Facebook to grow an audience. Case in point, I mean, I've never posted anything on Facebook about a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, I never said, hey, all my friends, listen to my podcast. No, because I really don't care if my friends or family listen to a podcast or not, because that's not my target audience. That's not the people I'm reaching out to. That's not the people I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like, I know all my friends. I know all my family. I know I don't want to work with them. I don't want to do business with them. I don't want to be involved with them in that way. You know what I mean? Like, why would I just sit there and announce, hey, listen to this podcast? And if the podcast doesn't really pertain to them, they can't get any information out of it. Like, it's pointless to me. So this company, they was very heavy on Facebook, do all these motivational quotes, all this, buy the books, buy the same, the typical books, Like, I've bought a variety of books, listened to a variety of audio books, from the self-help to, the biographies to anything, you know what I mean? Everything can help you. But you'll get a lot of these people in these groups. The first book they want to tell you is Think and Grow Rich, or like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and those kind of typical books. It's like 5 books. I had to think about them. There's like 5 books that people will always try to tell you, oh, you got to read this book. This will change your life. It's cool. It's and everything. But I've learned more from the biographies or the, different stuff like that I actually have those kind of books, Like, I've listened to 25 hours of Steve Jobs. I learned quite a bit about business and taking chances and, just having action. Walt Disney, from Steve Jobs, Walt Disney to Malcolm X. You know what those 3 people had in common? All 3 was about action. They would study a little bit, but then they would put everything they learned or they would wanted to learn into action. It was all 3 guys, different genres, different things they did with their lives, but all 3 were about action. And that is like the common thread for all these biographies that I've listened to. Everybody takes action at some point. Nobody sits around and goes, well, let me read 6 more books and let me read Napoleon Hill and figure this out. You know what I mean? So Facebook, needing Facebook and needing motivation, it's all nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, every now and then everybody needs a swift kick in the butt. Every now and then. But if I had to post a motivational quote for you on Facebook for you to get going, then you ain't gonna get going anyway. So, we're just wasting our time, right? So don't fall into the trap of Facebook, because there's so many ways that you can get an app. You can, Instagram, Twitter, all kinds of ways. I'm not saying that Facebook isn't bad or whatever, I'm not saying that, but the theory that if you're not on Facebook, if you don't turn your Facebook page into a business page, then you're never gonna make a dime is complete hogwash. We'll say, we won't use any profanity, but it's complete hogwash. Okay, so there's a lot of the one thing about starting an online business is you have to cut through the chatter, you have to cut through the noise, you have to cut through the nonsense, the BS, because there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of false narratives that you will hear. People will tell you I'm doing, and then a lot of people that say they're successful, they're really not. So it's a lot sometimes that you have to just watch out for. But that one, I can definitely tell you is a false statement. That if you don't use Facebook, you won't make it. You'll make it just fine. I mean, if you want to use it, if you're good at it, if you spend a lot of time on Facebook, then definitely use it. But if you don't spend a lot of time on it, don't try to force it. Don't do that, because it's just it won't work. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's it for today's podcast, everybody. I gotta get out here and get to it. Okay, it's that time. But anyway, I was excited to talk to you. Now I'm sad to leave you. But we'll be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode of the podcast. All right? So, hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, upload the content and watch out for the Facebook Lives. All right? Anyway, my name is Tony Rosano. This is the Affiliate Party Podcast. And we will talk to you tomorrow. All right? And as always, everybody, peace.